UFC 326 wrapped up last night, and Charles Oliveira dominated Max Holloway over 5 rounds so bad that people are calling for the BMF to be destroyed. They're calling for no more BMF fights to occur, and that's a lot going on in the MMA scene, but we'll get to that. I want to start from the beginning of this card, but before we do, I want to say if y'all could drop a like and subscribe, I'd greatly appreciate it. Let's go ahead and jump in. We didn't do bad on this card. Sorry, I just fired up my computer, so it's going to take a second. I went, I think, 8-4. But we had a really bad start, I'll be honest here, with the opening of Luke Fernandez versus Rodolfo Bellato. I don't know if this is a performance of the night worthy fight. It was a good one, though. I mean, they both came out looking to scrap. Fernandez definitely looked a lot better. He had Bellato's nose bleeding, and he just got a bit overzealous, really tried to, catch Bellato in the pocket. And Bellato has power, and he managed to find a shot on the tip of the chin of Luke Fernandez, drops him bad. And Luke was hurt enough to shell up to ground and pound and get TKO'd. So we went 0-1 to start the card, but a good win for Bellato. He finally gets one since his UFC debut. Luke Fernandez is horrible. If you're losing to a guy like Bellato in Big 2026, regardless of how good you looked before the finish happened, getting finished by Bellato is crazy. It's insane, and I don't know if I'll pick Luke Fernandez ever again. But good one for Bellato, I guess. He gets to keep his job. We move on to the other one, Rafael Tobias versus DR Nurgaje. I forgot in the prediction video, this is the guy who is shit, and Tobias is even more shit, unfortunately. And to be fair, Tobias hurt him really good. He just had no setup. He was just letting Nurgaje teep him from range, move. He was outpacing him. He was trying to grapple, but he couldn't really get him down and keep him down. Nurgaje would always get up, and over 3 rounds, man, DR just outstruck him. It was kind of annoying because DR was being kind of dirty too. I think he grabbed the cage. I think he low blowed, or no. He got low blowed Tobias, and when he was trying to take a second to breathe, DR was like, and Herb, regardless of whether Herb said stop or not, he was signaling get out of there, break, get out of there, dude. Rogan's commentary was so shit, but and he kept trying to swing on him. I think that was this fight, and DR is very dirty for that. But Tobias has no fight IQ, but he's 23, 22, so. The guy just has time to learn. He got shown levels here by Unk. DR sucks, though. He gets finished by anyone with an amount of skill with the amount of times he's doing this. You just do an overhand right and you got him. But a good win for DR. He gets to keep his job, I guess. Tobias needs to go back to the drawing board and really learn some fight IQ because he could have won this fight. He was the more athletic guy, and he arguably had the bigger shots. He almost put DR out in round 2. But, yeah, good win for DR. We move on. This one we got right, and this was a last-minute pick change. If you follow me on Twitter at the MMA Dummy, I did a last-minute pick change, which I kind of regret because I got this one right, but the co-main wrong. We'll get there. Sumudaerji versus Jesus Aguilar. Now, this was a good one. At first, I thought Aguilar would get his wrestling off, but then I just saw the size difference between them, and I realized that Sumudaerji is a 10-fight UFC veteran. I think he knows his way around some grappling, so I changed my pick, went with Sumudaerji, and I was right, man, over 3 rounds. The stats are somewhat close, but don't be mistaken. I mean, Sumudaerji was just jabbing Aguilar's head back. I think he had a bloody nose at one point. There was even a bit of he hit him with something that was really hard that he was hurting him every time that Jesus tried to get close. I mean, he would just get battered and he couldn't even get the takedowns off. And even though he did get Sumudaerji down once, Sumudaerji was really good with his takedown defense and getting back up from bottom position. And it was just a masterclass. I mean, it was close by all means. Jesus was never out of the fight, but he was never really in it, to be fair. I don't know if he ever got Sumudaerji's respect outside of a combination where Sumudaerji just hung out in the pocket too long and got caught by a glancing shot. But great win. We got that right 1-2. It wasn't a great start to the early prelims, but we move on to an even dirtier fighter that I got right. Naim Jargal Tumen Dembarel versus Cody Durden. This fight was close, man. This fight was really close. Cody landed a lot of good shots. They, were reversing each other 1,000 times over. Neither man knocked each other down, but it is flyweight. You're not going to see that too much. But Naim Jargal's dirty, man. 2 times he struck Cody after the bell, blatantly, as well as I think a cage grab. So fuck this guy, genuinely. He's dirty. And I hope he gets slept in his next fight because I don't care if you got my pick right. You're a dirty fighter. You should be cut. Gone. We'll make a video on that in a few days here. But yeah, Durden had a really good round 3, but round 1 and 2, Naim Jargal, especially round 2, was able to get his grappling off as well as his striking. It was a back and forth fight the whole way through. There wasn't really any crazy dominant moments. Durden could have won this fight if he did just a little bit more, but he always does a little bit less. And Naim Jargal gets the win by being well-rounded and dirty. Good win. You don't get punished for cheating in MMA. We see it. We'll go ahead and move on to Ricky Turcios versus Alberto Montes. I picked Alberto. I got this right. I think I picked Alberto. I don't ever justify picking Ricky. Yeah, I'm gonna say I picked Alberto. Yeah, it was a competitive round one, classic Ricky walk forward pressure, push him up against the cage, look like an angry school bully with like an emo cut. And Alberto Montes, signature front choke guy. I think he got one on the Contender Series. I think that's where he came from. And yeah, wasn't he? I don't know why round threes there. Usually they don't even populate that. So round one, close match. I think they probably gave it to Montes for landing the better shots, but Turcios was pushing him up against the cage, making it gritty, making it tough. But round two, I don't really remember the sequence too much, but Alberto Montes locks up either an anaconda or a darce as his jiu-jitsu guy. I always forget because it literally just depends on what side of the arm you're grabbing. Like there really is no difference. It's just a latch up choke. It's a latched front choke. And Alberto Montes gets it. Doesn't even get the hooks in because typically you're supposed to walk to your opponent and hook their top side leg so they can't walk away from you. But no, his squeeze was so tough, and Ricky also doesn't have a good defense that he was able to get the tap in round two. Great one for Montes. He's gonna be something good, man. To be able to like Tercios wasn't tired, and if Tercios, I mean, he never gets tired, but when Tercios is fighting you, he has a lot of energy, and a lot of guys do wilt to that, or at least can't go for the finish because if they try to like use all their energy to get the finish and they don't get it, Tercios is right in their face the next minute. So great one for Alberto Montes. We'll go ahead and move on to Dante Johnson versus Cody Brundage. Now this was actually way closer than people thought. I said you shouldn't count out Cody Brundage. The dude is often a victim, but he also goes up against guys who are like dirty. They hit him with back of the head shots. But he's a good guy. He's like a good fighter. He's solid. Like he's not great, but he's solid. And a split decision here. Dante Johnson's stock dropped tremendously from this fight. Obviously, like he won it. He didn't really have, his offensive grappling, but he won it on strikes. He put more damage on Brundage. I don't think he knocked him down at any point. But yeah, Durden and Brundage are just interswappable white guys just by being like 5 weight classes apart. But Cody Brundage was trying to get his grappling off, couldn't really get it, got stuffed. How many? He got 2 of 7 takedowns. Not great, but it's typical Brundage fight. He gets outstruck by Dante Johnson over 3 rounds. I think was there a foul in this fight too? There was a lot of bad, like, dirty moves tonight. A lot of fouls. Sorry, I accidentally clicked on Johnson. Johnson's stock definitely dropped a bit. Cody, I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, he probably takes these matchups in the UFC's favor. But, dude, he's got to get a win here sooner. He's done for good. I just realized I have an AirPod in. I'm not even listening to anything. I was doing that before. But, yeah, great win for Dante Johnson. We move on to Cody No Love Garbrandt. He's back. Sorcerers don't get knocked out, man. With a terrible off-center eye tattoo. So this was a close fight. Some people were saying Zhao should have won it. I guess technically he should have, but he was a dirty fighter, man, and he loses on the scorecards. I want to say it was a close and competitive round one. Obviously, when did the groin shot happen? So I want to say it was later in the fight. So Cody, I think, wins round one. No, he doesn't win. Zhao wins. Jesus, sorry. My memory's... I wasn't really awake for most of these fights. I wasn't, like, conscious, so my memory's a bit gone. Zhao Long was looking good, though. He was, pressuring Cody Garbrandt. Cody was moving, but he was on the back foot for most of the fight. It was kind of annoying. And I can't quite remember what round and what time and what sequence, but Cody Garbrandt got hit with a nut shot, and then he kept getting hit, so I think he got hit again. They took a point from Zhao Long, which made a 10-9 round for Zhao Long, a 9-9 round. And then he kneed him again in the nuts, so he got another point taken, and then it was an 8-9. I think it was a 9-8 in favor of Cody Garbrandt. I think that's why Garbrandt got the win, and not Zhao, even though he technically did win this fight when it comes to it being a fight. He's a dirty fighter, though, so he got his points taken, and Cody Garbrandt wins via unanimous decision despite, Zhao honestly doing better. I'm here for it, dude. Like, if you're going to continuously foul an opponent, because you can get away with it, he just didn't get away with it this time. I think you should lose a fight. I think Gon should never get a title shot again, unrelated. But a great win for Cody Garbrandt. It's tough because he was like dry heaving at one point during the match. Like the nut shots were that bad. I don't think he threw up, but just when that radiating stomach pain is that bad, like you want to throw up. But yeah, Cody Garbrandt didn't look the best. Hopefully he looks better in his next fight out. There's not really too much hype behind him just because this win wasn't exactly a dominant win. It was a close competitive fight in which he probably got the nod due to his opponent being a dirty motherfucker. But a good win for Cody nonetheless. We ride it on. Please don't give him a crazy wrestler for his next fight. We move on to first fight of the main card. I got this right. You cannot tell me that Bruno Ferreira did not flash KO Gregory Rodriguez. It was a fluke of a win, yet. Gregory Rodriguez is the better fighter, and we saw it here. A minute and 47 seconds into the very first round. I want to say he landed like a right hook or something. Slumped Ferreira out cold. Both these guys are powerhouses in their own right. Obviously, former president of the United States. Dude's got a lot of power. This dude's built like a fucking tank. So we saw that in the first fight. You know, he was up against the cage, jabbed, put Rodriguez out stiff. And we saw it here. Rodriguez lands that right hook, I think it was. Drops Ferreira out cold. Great win for Rodriguez. I mean, I get if you picked Ferreira based off the first KO, but Rodriguez is the better fighter, man. He almost finished Cannonier before he kind of got gassed and got finished himself. Ferreira doesn't have wins like that. Doesn't even have wins that are close to, you know, almost finishing Cannonier. And I think Cannonier's not as washed at the time of the Rodriguez fight as people thought he was. So all I'm saying is put some respect on Obama's name. He gets the win. That was a nasty KO. That dude's coming off, I think, 2 nasty KOs of Hermanson and Ferreira. He's 32 and he looks like that. But he has some insane power, and I can't wait to see who they put him up against next at middleweight. Because he's probably going to be breaking into the top 10, if not top 5. Because I think Ferreira's either in or just outside the rankings. But yeah, good win for Rodriguez. We move on. Well. I tried to tell y'all. This one was suspicious, though, I'll be honest. The betting lines did skew. There's a tweet up right now. I don't have it pulled up, but I think it has 9 million views of a guy saying that Johnson's going to lose in the second round because his brother or his cousin is being held captive by a Louisiana gang, I think. So that's horrifying. But also that's not like an insane prediction. Dober round 2 KO. It makes sense, but if that's real, that's insane, especially with the suspicious betting lines skewing to Dober right at the end there when it was a 50-50 leading up in the week. But regardless, close first round. Michael Johnson arguably won it. But come second round, dude, Dober had enough. I'm not going to go as far as maybe Guru did with the jokes, but undefeated, undisputed. That's all I got to say. Jalen Turner's next. We saw Dober try to downplay it with Michael Johnson. We saw him go backstage, you know, at the weigh-ins and tell Michael Johnson, I hate these jokes. You know, my niece gets bullied at school for it, which in all seriousness, this is actually very fucked up. This is kind of an inside joke in the fact that it's gone mainstream to where his family's getting bullied for it. We should probably step it down a notch. I don't really contribute too much to it. But Drew contributes to it, man, and he gets it done again. I think he hurt Michael with a right, and then it was like a left overhand that essentially left a mark in Michael Johnson's skull. He sleeps him out cold. Dude, when Drew Dober gets a finish, it's so violent. It's always so violent. He goes for the kill. You know, Minecraft, I mean, Trevor Peake hasn't fought in a minute, so this is our current Minecraft Steve. Dude can break trees. Dude can break Michael Johnson's skull. Fucking demon Drew Dober. Voice crack, that's hilarious. Yeah. I get it if you pick Michael Johnson. The dude's a 50-50 fighter. He probably lost to Ronda Rousey on his best day and with the flu beat Khabib. But Dober, it's Dober. I 100% rate. That's all I got to say. We move on. Chee-wee-wees is boring. Raul Rosas Jr. stinks it up. No, it's fine. We knew this was going to happen. Rob Font has no grappling. He only has an omoplata getup. And Raul Rosas Jr., despite being young, is pretty tenured for a UFC fighter. Especially at his age. I think he's had like 4 or 5 fights in the UFC at this point. And the dude uses grappling when he needs it. Obviously, he was getting his striking off. I'm sure Font kind of feared the takedown, which let Chiwiwis get his striking going. But 16 of 18 takedown attempts. Holy shit. Imagine 18 times you see this chin within inches of your private area. What do you do? Absolutely insane. I'm not surprised Rob Font didn't piss himself all over the canvas. Fuck. But Chiwiwis gets it done. 5 out of 6 in round 1. He goes 3 for 3 in round 2. And then 8 for 9 in round 3. Just an absolute takedown clinic. This was a unanimous decision. I don't know what they scored it. Probably a 30-27. Obviously, Rosas needs to get a bit more finishing instinct in his game. I'll be real. Font's kind of a finishable guy in 2026. Pause. But great win for Chiwiwis nonetheless. Hopefully he gets a bit more of a finishing instinct, especially if he's going to be so dominant within his grappling. But we'll see what happens. I mean, they could jump him up. There's the Font ladder where you either get in the middle of the rankings and you're kind of on a good trajectory and then you get your jump up, or you go from Font to like a top 5 guy. I don't think they should do that with Chiwiwis. I think they should put him within that mid-range, let him get one more really good win. And if he gets a finish, I mean, he's only 2 fights away from calling for a title shot, depending on where the bantamweight division is. We still have Marab and Peter to play out and see what happens with Sean and Zahabi at the White House. I need to make a video on that. Stay tuned. But great win for Chiwiwis. We move on to the co-main, which was also one of my last-minute pick changes because I went back and watched the Kai fight with Imavov, and Imavov's very good. That's all I have to say. Because Bahio looks shit, man. He's always a step behind. And he's a dirty cheater, too. He cheated in this fight. And I thought Rayner's output would be enough to kind of win with the judges. And honestly, it was a close fight. I get it. I've been stuttering all day, and I don't know what's going on. I should probably see a doctor. And I thought Rayner would, outstrike and win a decision over Barajo just because Barajo hasn't looked that good. And he's a bit slow, but dude, Rayner's just a torso with like rubber bands attached to him. His striking is so unpredictable. You can never predict what version of him is going to show up on the night. Whether it's the takedown savvy version like it was against Whitaker, whether it's the knee spamming against Bo Nickel, you never know. So he loses this fight, but Borjao cheated, grabbed the cage like 3 times. Dirty motherfucker. He took a page out of Imavov's book, realized, hey, Imavov didn't get a point taken for poking me in the eye multiple times. I'll just cheat and get away with it because that's what the UFC is now. You can tell I'm a little bit heated about this pick because I initially had Bohajo. I keep just not knowing how to pronounce these names, like Kyle. Bro, just fucking pick a normal name, Jesus. I say that like Rayner de Ritter is much better. I thought Rayner was gonna win, man. I really did. I thought his output would be enough. I thought his knees and his pressure would kind of keep Barajo from getting his like aggressive, fast-paced kind of in and out style going, but it wasn't. He got outstruck, and it looks like he even got his own takedowns, but it just wasn't enough. He probably didn't have a lot of submission threats from there. And after round 1, dude, he had no grappling. And I think that's probably what costed him here. Bit underwhelming. This whole card was, but we're not going to sit here and shit on it. Good win for Barajo. We're going to move on to the main event because I also got that wrong. Charles Oliveira stunk up the place, according to a lot of people on MMA Twitter, against Max Holloway for the BMF Belt. Even Daniel Cormier was saying this isn't how a BMF belt is supposed to win, and had Rogan and Anik going,
You're casual. You don't like 24 minutes of control time without a finish? Steel cups.
yeah, he was talking about that with the Cody Garbrandt thing. Charles gets it done, man, but I'll be honest, it was kind of boring. It was impressive, but like if it's so impressive that he was able to dominate him for 5 rounds straight using grappling, why couldn't he find a sub? And I understand you can say Max has really good sub defense. Cool, but then why not go for like ground and pound TKO? Because he was even beating Oliveira. He was even beating Holloway on the feet. We saw in the last 10 seconds when they did that point down, it wasn't as cool as they talked about it being. But the one shot that Oliveira landed clean on Holloway stung him bad. And looking at it, it kind of makes sense. I feel a bit stupid, but I still stand behind my Max pick. Like the Max of 55, given the situation, I thought was going to be too aggressive and have enough power behind his shots to get Charles respect, because Charles just hasn't looked the greatest at 55 with his chin. Against Ilya, he tried to grapple a little bit, but he had 0 success, and I didn't rate Ilya's grappling. Ilya's a very good grappler, but I didn't rate him that high that it would just completely change the outcome of the fight. Against Holloway, Oliveira was able to take him down 5 for 13. So, like, Holloway had good defense, but when Oliveira got him, it looks like he got one around and was able to stick to him. Like, every takedown he got, yeah, he rode out the round probably in that position. It was a great game plan by Charles Oliveira. Like, that Max Holloway has not been tested in the grappling. He almost fought Khabib short notice, but that didn't happen. Otherwise than that, you can't name any great wins or elite grapplers in Holloway's resume. And I should have taken that into more of an account going into this fight, but I just thought that his aggressiveness would be a bit too much for current Oliveira. If Oliveira hadn't been shinned recently in his past few fights and, like, I don't know. Yeah, if he just hadn't been shinned recently, like, so brutally, like, he went out cold for the first time against Ilya, I probably would have picked him here, just knowing the grappling. But it is what it is. I'm not butthurt about it. You can call me an idiot for picking Max, but I think majority of people were picking Max, but it does make sense. It's just Oliveira has never, like, used his grappling the entire fight, especially as of recently. He's been trying to stand with people. Like, he would stand with Gaethje until he got dropped, and then he dropped him, and then he, choked him. But in this fight, I mean, he was looking for the takedown, and I just didn't expect it out of Oliveira. But it was a great game plan. It's just one that you would expect, given Oliveira being a jiu-jitsu ace, but he historically has never performed like that. This is one of his best performances today when it comes to implementing his grappling, which we've heard so much about, and he has the most submissions in the UFC, but as of recent, he's just been standing and striking. But a great one for Charles Oliveira. Again, this card delivered. Like, the cheating was really annoying. We need to get that under control, but we never will because cheating is legal in the UFC. But the name value was not great for this card, and some of the fights were a bit lackluster, but the finishes delivered. Some of the decisions kind of stunk up the place. It is what it is. This wasn't the strongest card. And I'll be honest, nor is the White House card. The White House card is actually a strong card on its own, but when given all the promo going into it. But we'll get into that. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the video here. Again, great win for Charles Oliveira. I don't know if he deserves a title shot next, especially with the logjam with Poirier Gaethje coming up. And then they should just do Armand Oliveira too, in my opinion. I think that's how we fix this. That's how we kind of sort out the lightweight division. But yeah, great card, to be fair. Like, I mean, it delivered. It definitely delivered. The name value wasn't great, but it delivered. Happy for Oliveira. Saw a lot of good fights play out here, and my parlay hit. So that's all that matters. If y'all also had a parlay, I hope you hit. Pause. See ya.